Hello friends, how are you? Hope you are all fine and doing very well, and hope you are learning from here. So let's start our today's class, and today we are going to learn about 2D transforms in CSS. So it's very simple, and this property was introduced in CSS3, and we are gonna cover each and everything about 2D transforms in this lecture. So with CSS Transform you can do many things, like you can scale things, and you can change locations of your elements, and you can skew elements. You can do many more things with transforms. You can rotate anything. So it's there are a lot of things that you can do. So I'm gonna create a folder known as CSS Transforms. Okay, so today is our lecture on CSS Transforms. So actually the transforms, actually we use this property. The meaning of this property is you can say that to transform anything, like you heard many times like about someone he's transformed himself or herself. So what is the meaning of this? Actually you can change elements properties with transform property. So actually it's something weird knowledge that I'm speaking here, but yeah, you can understand it. So first of all, I'm gonna create a folder, and I'm gonna create a file here, and just I'm going to open it with VS Code editor. And one more thing, that if you really want to learn VS Code, I will create a video in VS Code also, so don't you need to worry about anything. Now I'm just increasing its dimensions from here. And one more thing, that you can actually make files through terminals. So there are a lot of ways you can make files from terminals, and but I'm not using it here terminal. I'm just using simple interface. Like I'm going to create the file of index.html and one more file of style.css. Now I'm going to create some boilerplate. So actually I always start from very scratch, so everyone can understand it easily. So I can say that 2D transforms, yeah, and yes, now I'm going to set some styles here, like margin set to 0, padding set to 0, box sizing set to border box. So actually these three properties will apply on each and every element, because we selected universal selector here. And one more thing, that I have to connect my CSS file. I have to link my CSS file in my HTML page. Now one more thing, that I am going to open this file. So this is open, you can see the title is here. Now there are a lot of things that you can do with your you can do a lot of things with your elements. So let's create an element here. So I'm gonna create I'm gonna create an element div. Yeah, it's very simple. Yeah, I know. And yes, that's all. Now here I'm going to set my body to display flex, to display it in center. Now if I show you my div, I want to set it width here also 200 pixels. Let's suppose I'm just taking a random values here. So you can also change it if you want to change it. And with a background color, and my favorite background color is teal. Yeah. Now if I refresh, something looks like this, and I want to center it from horizontal and vertical just here, so you can see each and everything clearly. So I'm just using a flex here. If you don't know about flex, you can watch my CSS series, and there in the series I created a video, complete video on flexbox, so you can understand the flex layout, how we use the flexbox. So here I'm using the display flex, and then I can say that justify content to center, so it will center everything in horizontally. Yeah, it's horizontally in center, and I want to center it vertically, so I have to give it align item center, but I think it won't work because I have to give a height of my body. So I'm going to give it a height of, you can say, 100 VH, and if I refresh, now it is in center, and this is looking very cute. Now with there are a lot of methods inside what I want to say, yeah, there are a lot of methods of the property of as a value. There are a lot of methods as a value that we give to our transform property. So there is transform, and you can see the matrix, matrix 3D, perspective, rotate, rotate 3D, rotate X, rotate Y, rotate Z, scale, scale 3D, scale Y. So there are a bunch of many more we can do with it. So let's suppose we can change with items with translate. Yeah. So let's suppose if I give a translate 50 pixel from here and 100 pixels, so I am giving two values, or you can say two parameters. So here in you can see in this example we are actually moving our div. So translate is used to move a div, so we are moving a div from 15 pixel to its right and 100 pixel to its down. Okay, 100 pixel down and 50 pixel away from left or towards right, and from its current position. Now it is in current position. If I refresh, you can see it slightly move 50 pixel from here and 100 pixel down. Now if I refresh, you can see our element is moved. So we use transform to translate with this way, and we actually use this translate in absolute positions, minus 50%, minus 50%, so our element will become in center. We will create this. Let's suppose if I just refresh it again. Now let's suppose I can show you why we use this transform. Yeah. So let me give it a div here and give it a class of inner. Oops, I should not capsule there. Yeah, and also give it a class here outer. Yeah. Now I'm going to select this outer and paste it here, something like this. Now if I refresh, it something looks like this. And one more thing, the inner div. So I'm going to select this inner div, and I'm going to give it a style like width of 50 pixel and a height of also 50 pixel. So it will become again a square and a background color of, let's suppose, tomato. Now if I refresh, you can see this is our box. And if you want to align it also in center, there are two ways that you can do. The first one is using a display flex, and as I told you in my previous videos, that the flex box we used in the parent element. So this is outer is our parent element, and so this outer is the parent of this inner div. So I'm going to display flex here and justify content to center. If you refresh, yeah, it is in it is horizontally in center. Now if I set align items to center, so it will center itself like this. So here we do not need any you can say we do not need any positions. But if you want to center this container with display flex, with positions, so how can you do this? It's very simple. Just you have to give a position to relative, so the inner div will work according to the outer div. Now you give it a position again here to absolute here. Now if I refresh, it is again on its very top of very left and top area. Now if I want to change this position from here to in very center. So how can I do this? It's very simple. Just you have to give a top of 50% and a height also of 50%. Not height, actually left. Yeah, if you don't know about positions, you can watch my video for complete tutorial on positions. I discussed each and every property of positions like relative, absolute, fixed, sticky, statics. There are a lot of positions, so I covered each and everything. Now if I refresh, now you can see this is our element, and the point, this is the its very main point. If I zoom it here, so you can see this point is in center. So actually this is the point is very in center. Now I want the center of this point, I want to center this whole div according to its center. So how can I do this? It's very simple. Just you have to use a transform property here, like so, and give it a translate, and here you edit 50% from top and 50% from left. So it is here. Now if I minus these two properties again from here, so it will, I'm giving a negative value, so it will move actually in reverse order or opposite order. So I'm giving it here 50 minus 50, so it will it is the x-axis and the y-axis. So this is the first value will minus 50% from the left, and the second value minus 50% from its top. So this div will be in center. If I refresh, now it is in center. So there are a lot of ways that you can center the div, but we use this translate with like these kind of effects. So our next property is rotate property, and I like to use the rotate property. Now if I'm going to remove it from here, or just comment it out and just a little bit like here. Yeah, now if I refresh it again, everything is fine. I just want to remove it from here also. I just want to remove it from here. Yeah, now it's looking good. But the next property that we are going to discuss is transform. Again, in transform we are going to give a method of rotate. So the rotate method is used to rotate an element, as simple as it is. You can rotate element in clockwise order or anti-clockwise order. If you want to rotate your element in anti-clockwise order, you can give minus values in minus. But if you want to rotate it in a percentage, I think so it is in degree, like so. So if you want to rotate it in clockwise, you have to give the positive value like 50, 10, 1. Okay, don't give negative values. But if you want to rotate it in anti-clockwise or counterclockwise order, so you can use negative values. And how can I display it? So if I give a 360 pixel, now if I give 145 pixel, I'm just taking a degree. I'm just taking a random degree here. If I refresh, now it is in, you can see it's looking good. So it is rotated. Now our element is rotated. Now one more thing, if you want to hover it and rotate it, you can also do this, and we can actually create many more good animations with transforms. Now if I place it here and if I refresh, now once I hover on it, you can see very nice effect. But it is very, actually it is just looking like not a good thing. It's not smooth, everything is just jumping off. So how can we fix this? It's very simple. You can give a transition property here. So transition property actually is used to make our elements move smoothly. So actually we use this trick to make our elements affect smoothly. So I'm giving it 1 second on my outer div. So if someone hovers on it, it will move the element in 1 second. Now if I refresh and if I hover on it, now you can see and the effect is very nice. Yeah, we can also change it to 360 pixel, so it will remove so it will actually move in as a like a complete circle. So if I refresh, if I hover on it, you can see, yeah, that's looking good. So you can do many more things with it. So you can just play it, and if you want to make it anti-clockwise, so you can just put a minus here, and if I refresh, now if I hover, now it is in anti-clockwise. So you can do many more things with it, and I'm going to comment it out from here, and I just want to place the transition property here, so it will actually make my elements movement smooth. So the next thing that we can do is the scale method, and scale method is actually very good. So I'm going to give a transform here, yeah, and scale. Actually, scale is used for scaling an element from its current position. Then it takes two parameters or values. The first value specifies the width, so if I give a 2 here, so it will specify the width, and the second value specifies the height. Let's suppose I gave a 3 here. So now that this 2 is actually mean that it will be the outer div will be, the height will be 2% more than its original width, yeah, 2 times more than its original width. And actually the height, we use 3, so it means that it is 3 times more than its current height, or than its original height. So let me show you. If I refresh and if I hover on it, oops, it's not working. If I have to refresh, yeah, now if I hover on it, you can see the effect is changing. So I can actually give one by one, so you can see good effect. If I refresh, okay, if I hover on it, nothing is changed because 1 is by default. So I have to give 1.1.1. If I refresh, you can see a very little effect. Yeah, there are a lot of sites you saw, if you hover on a link, so the link becomes wider and looking good. So these kind of effects you can create. Isn't it good? Maybe you can also give in minus values. Now if I refresh, yeah, it's something looks like this. So how amazing this feature is. So actually you can do many more things with it. You can also do it maybe with focus or active. I'm giving it with active. Now if I refresh, so actually if I click on it, you can see the effect. And if I keep pressing this, you can see the effect. How amazing this is. So actually you can just play around with these properties, and you can make many cool features or transitions or animations with just simple transform property. So forth we'll learn about scale and rotate and translate. Now the next one is let's pause, or what will be the next. And actually one more thing that I want to cover is that there are a lot of properties like transform, scaleX, yeah. So if I just give scaleX, so it will actually, it's the x-axis, so that means it's horizontal. Now if I refresh, it will again just scale in horizontal order like this. So actually you can create this effect on your links. You can place a underline here on there. If someone hovers on it, the underline just moves from its left and right and increase itself. You can do, if I put Y here, capital Y like this, now it will move in a vertical order. If I refresh and if I hover on it, it will something looks like this. So that this is the way that you can do many more things. You can actually do you can say that if I just put a scaleX here to 2 and not 2, yeah, one more thing that you can do is actually, should I tell you? Yeah, actually it's not relevant to this topic, but there's a trick that I usually do in my websites, and that is width. So here I'm placing a width of 200 pixels, but here I will place it to 400 pixels. Let's suppose this. Now if I refresh, now it will just move the element from here to here. Now if I hover on it, okay, yeah, it something looks like this. Now it is actually moving from its left and right because we center the div, so it have to move from its left and right, and it has to increase itself. Now the next thing that you can do is, you learned so far about scale, rotate, and the last property, but we do not use that property very much, but you can say it as the shorthand property. And actually the shorthand property is something yeah, something looks like a shorthand property, that is matrix. Now how we use matrix, we again have to give a transform, and this value, or you can say the method is matrix. So matrix actually takes 6 parameters. So there are ways that you can do. The 6 parameters are scaleX. So the first one is scaleX. Yes. Now the second one is scale, or not scale, I think so, skew. Yeah, like this. And skew, you can say skewY. Now if you don't know about skew, okay, I'm gonna tell you. So let me first tell you about skew. So if I not text replace, sorry, transform to skew like this. If I place skewX, and let's suppose if I give you can actually use skewX and skewY. So now skewX will take random, I can give it random value like 20 degree. So if I refresh, now if I hover on it, something looks like this. So it is securing itself like this, and you can also place Y. Now if I refresh, it will move it in Y and vertical order. So it is just for making your element looks different from its original state, so it will skew the element. Now here we use the first, in the matrix we are using the first parameter, the first value is scaleX, and the second value is skewY. Okay, and I think so what will be the next value? Yeah, the next value is skewY, and then skewX, I think so. Yeah, like this. So first one is scaleX, then second one is skewY, third one is skewX, and the fourth one is scaleY, like this. And then we have to give the translate X like this, and then translate Y like so. Now translate X will just move the element in horizontal order, and translate Y is used to move the element in vertical order. And if you want to apply these all edit properties, you can do this with matrix. So how can I do this? So just I'm passing the values here, like let's suppose I want to scale it 1, scaleX to 1, and I want to skew it to 0. I don't want to skew it. If I want to skew it in X order, like in horizontal, I just place 1 here, and here I'm not giving a degrees, so you should not also give degrees here. Now in the next, that is scaleY, I'm going to put let's suppose 2. Just I'm giving random values. scaleY will be 2, and if I just put 6 here, from its translate horizontally, and if I just translate vertically to 6 also, so it will something look like this. If I refresh and if I hover on it, yeah, each and every effect is applying on it. So this is the way that you can do, and actually this is all about 2D transforms, and I told you each and everything about 2D transforms, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. And really, I do not use this matrix in my website because it's actually something very much confusing for me actually, so I do not use this property. And in the coming up videos, we are going to cover about CSS animations, so you can create many cool animations. So we also gonna cover those animations, so you can play around with these properties, and if you do so, you can actually do much more with these properties. And I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any question about this, you can ask me and I will give you answer. You can ask me in comment box, I will provide you answer. So as the best as I can, so I will work hard for you. So do not take any tension. I will provide you the stuff that you should know. I will provide you material that you should know to become a good programmer, to become a good coder. So this is the place of learning the coding quickly. So actually there is no quick way, but here's the channel. The quick code is actually taking each and every concept so you can learn it, learn the programming deeply. So this is all about the lecture, and if you have any questions about these things, you can ask me and I will surely provide you the answers. So hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions, again I'm saying this because I know many people there are a lot of people that are confused in some properties or some values, so they can ask me. And if you do not know this markup language, you can watch my tutorial on HTML for dummies. So I created a complete playlist, and there are a lot of videos there, so you can watch those videos so you can learn. And one more thing, that you should watch the videos in order from the playlist. So you should watch the videos in order, so that way you can understand what I'm trying to say. So this is the Visual Studio Code that I am using, and that's all for this for today's tutorial, and hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Allah Hafiz. See you in the next tutorial.